Best writer passes account lots of weirdness, that's the weirdest. Promising is grating. What Phoenix did better than Grace was that he juggled, you forgive me to say this way, the three balls right, Witcher. Rail 1, 2 and 3 right. Grace writes a brilliant sigh when she goes to university. Grades will smash. It could be free just to talk about whether she wants to talk for the GCSE. They're looking every single time is particular. 123. You will notice that next to your paragraphs I've written male 1,802,803 and I'm looking in each one have died, yet they did it, they kind of did, that's what we want. We tick means the protective, it's not solid, I'm not that okay, and you'll see that needs to be a paragraphs right if you are constantly across your essay using an extra 03 across the third of your grade. Third right if you're now and again not hitting AO2 very fully, we've lost the second third and you end up just getting your marks for this. If you look at that horrible printers in your book, it is useless then. Just use a second summer. It's useless for kids weak as the print's tiny stuff, but what is useful for is it gives you the terrifying news right at the top. Can you see what it says right at the top? Involved. And this is taken from the examiner's marks in my life, not designed for kids to look at this. What the example used weighted equally. Now that means mask it, and now you'll notice that I've also written on the part where I highlighted which best describes your work for each of the iOS, I put a number, and so for example here Summer's got a 441 or 4 by 0205 for a 03. You had all three of those together and Millwall, and then what if they're weighted equal as Snow, and then you got to work out the average studying right. So she got a 4 for that one, a £4 fight for that one, 8 plus 5 is coming. Really matters. I'm shockingly 39 thirds is about 4 rights of shares up to 4 overall. Now Summer is not a great example, just had to be in the front row. Some of you, Grace is like one of these. Absolutely smashed our one, smashed it right, and she's gone by. Go get in. Obviously okay, Gracie is right at the top, she's got like 10 or something for this first column, forgot AO3, so when it comes to average she's got like 10 plus 5 is 15 thirds. She's got 5 great white marks, and not even though she got 10 or one of the problems is your average that you get okay. It's brutal as soon as you forget to include one of those things in your work, it's all over okay, which is why I gotta do those checklists that make sure that every single paragraph should have the right stuff in it, course, and some of the words right when some of the words that resume. Great point, that's the O2, that's best. Here we go, babe, I wanted your books but it was locked in this room, hey, or in school I love sucking puppies. Already presented wore it while reading this. Would you mind having those quickly ratings but not research checking so I can listen? One thing is on the front page, you look of the color model printed in glorious Technicolor seems so boring, just the one, that's what we do right. Okay, now listen, once you're on that checklist, have anyone looking? You're looking it now as I was looking at. Here we got what was the question again? Reminds before we read it. How's it going? The first one is looking good, right? I will process forward back because it's mostly expected space. Fair enough. Okay, he said he was moved into it. He thought it was honorable to dive. Instead, everyone stumbling for putting in sludge, just missing close. There's nothing quite like. There's no quote. Why can't you explain about going back to the quote? Likely upstairs, right? Ripping apart going. This works quite interesting. There's no quietly confident. You are not bothered to copy a quote. Now you cannot do out who it won't happen, and there examiner knows that, and I warned you about it. If he scans down your work and doesn't see that, which means what? Quite a quote. He knows he doesn't know until failure. He knows it straight away. He's thinking about using free talks. Okay, anyway, that carries on. What have we got here? Sorry for depressing. What egos are in this one, but you argue he's always a good question, so we can say he's got a 01. Yeah, there's no way I took as there's no quote. There's a bit of a low 3 to be fair to him. Okay, so at the moment he's misgivings failing out to. Okay, he shows that war is pointless in the quoted on The haunting flares, we turned our backs. Now what we going to move down to just one of the iOS analysis of the quote is just dial 1 is making a point improving at this point, right? That is just AO1. There's no 2 and there's number 3, there's nothing going on there to get the greatest. Got now a third of his grave. Okay, he described war as human in the quote we flung him. They have lost their humanity. That's an expression, it's just repeating the point you made. Very human, he's lost their humanity. They mean the same thing. Explaining the quote would be going back and talking about which word we did this in class so many times, right? So there should